He chooses to watch the stream. About to get into second part or the second little stream of Stanley Parable. See, I'm trying to remember where I left off at to find out. Alright, current time. Yeah. 6 p.m. Your favorite time of day? No. Again. It's correct. $7.56. Let's use another slider to find out. Oh god. How accurate is it? Very accurate. This is actually 7:57. So accurate. Just gonna put very accurate. You know, I can, regardless of the accuracy clock. It's good collecting data. Okay. Shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, let me whip up a couple. Maybe the next time you put up. Damn, I want to see those sliders now. Actually, to be fair, I can't go back though. Next time. Next time. So, oh, no continue.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he...
Alright, we can skip this. We know this. We're after bonus content. Jiggle this a little bit. I don't know. I doubt it.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the trophy? Click a door 5 times? Is that all you think a trophy is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks? Now, suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition.
Really?
I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes,
What?
almost certainly 50 clicks.
Okay. Just gonna press it as many times as I can, really fast. That's 50. I'm not counting.
No. I'm still not feeling it. I want this trophy to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all
100.
the way no matter the cost.
Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
Okay. Why do that? Let's always turn these off. So, there we go. 7. How many? 20?
Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
And this is...
Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now, door 415. Let's give it 10 clicks or so.
10 clicks or so. Chip Cheerio.
Now, back to door number 437.
And... tell you what. I better get a trophy for this.
Let's see. How about you click on, well, I don't know, the copy machine?
Ah.
All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere.
Better be. Better be.
Okay, now go climb on employee 419's desk.
Can't.
Yes, this is great. You're putting it all on the line, Stanley. I like that. All right, let's keep it up. Go give me a few clicks on door 416.
He's lying. There's no... there's no 416. This is it. I mean, can I climb on all the desks? Just that one. That one. Where's 416? Don't. It's gotta be this one. Guess it's through here.
When Stanley came to a set of
No,
two
no!
open doors,
No,
he took
no.
the one left.
Damn it, man. Are you serious? 13. Oh, oh. I messed that up.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's
My
office.
closet.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Already exhausted those dialogues.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked
Because I know
upstairs
that
to his
this
boss's
is the
office.
way I can get back to the beginning of the game
But
soonest.
Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence
I
in a
thought...
single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. "I'm dreaming!" he yelled. "This is all a dream." Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself?
It is not a
Believing
dream.
that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Are we okay? But are we really?
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley.
What's going on,
I have a boss. I have
Jack?
an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
And Stanley died.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Oh man.
Mariella woke up
Better.
on a day like any other.
Yeah, that's been going around.
Dressed, gathered her
Because of the weather and all,
belongings,
like,
and
yeah,
walked
it's
away.
been real crazy. I
But
actually
on this particular
getting
day,
over a cold
the walk
myself
was
not too long ago.
interrupted
Still
by
got like a little
man
phlegm,
who
but
had
you know,
stumbled through town talking
getting
and
there.
screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't.
and Stanley isn't
It's
real.
comforting to think this,
And she walked away.
Seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
It's kind of wild that she felt better at seeing Stanley's corpse lying there. Like, that's kind of sadistic, but let's try that again though.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the trophy?
It's
Click a door
416.
5 times? Is that all you think a trophy is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now, suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition.
I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks.
Clicks. Clicking away, clicking away.
No. I'm still not feeling it. I want this trophy to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way no matter the cost.
Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
7. Do it.
Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
6 though. Is it? To that 37.
Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now, door 415. Let's give it 10
Now,
clicks.
these
or so.
doors are numbered worse than street addresses. Is that again? I shouldn't have been talking. Which? Just it had to be 1-5 again.
Now, back to door number 437. Let's see. How about you click on, well, I don't know, the copy machine? All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere.
These numbers. Ain't exactly.
Okay, now go climb on employee 419's desk.
The desk.
Yes! This is great! You're putting it all on the line, Stanley. I like that. All right, let's keep it up. Go give me a few clicks on door 416. Stanley clicked on literally every single door in the office because he doesn't pick up well on cues from his environment.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh. Says. I don't know where the door is. And quite frankly, we're going to figure that out. But the power of Google doesn't make sense. That's why I'm missing something, and I just don't want to go inside of this one area and it messes up everything. Let's see. Bear with me. Oh, don't I feel?
Oh, good. You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
We've almost got it! Now the copy machine do that one again!
That's crazy. They put it. Copy machine.
Finish it off, Stanley! 5 clicks on door 430! Yes! We did it!
Oh, wow.
That's retarded.
Oh, you really did it, Stanley. Nothing could hold you back. Yes, I'm very proud of how far we've come today.
Yes, we are. We've done a splendid job. Absolutely brilliant. All right, let's check out this bonus content now, shall we? Because I believe, honestly, through the last video, I've exhausted everything there is to do in the main storyline. Give and take some things here and there, but we're just gonna go straight to the bonus content. This is a big building, for the record. Like, whatever building an Amazon
I've been reflecting on the Stanley
factory he
and about how
works in is
roundly
crazy.
disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever The Stanley Parable 2.
Seem like I haven't seen this before.
You see? Isn't this far superior to a measly
Actually
port
got
with
here.
a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a
Fast.
fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
Anything? Why is that? Like an ashtray, so it's interesting. What's this? Testing 2 printers at the same time. Okay.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
I concur. Candles? Oh. Old plus busted hotness. Stick. Yes. 2. See the big picture. 2 synergy stuff. This is the final one they chose to go with, but I think slide 4 actually looks probably the most enticing. It's between 3 and 4, and then yeah.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Yes.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Okay. First,
a common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable
the hell did that come from?
Perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive
Is it always
dissonance
just up there?
while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution.
Shut up and give me the bucket.
Give it a try. Can you feel it?
Yes,
Glow of
the power.
comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Yes, it is quite the
Does anyone give out
splendid.
awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already. Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Taking screen. So I picked this one. Well, you know what? Since my friend Jack, Black Jack, was here, they said they had a cold. We're gonna say, get well someday. That someday being tomorrow, if possible.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece, it is.
Son of a bitch. They tricked me.
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've
Yes,
made my decision.
yes, you should have went with...
Come now,
I
you
chose.
already made your choice. It's
I
true that
chose
you
this
chose
one.
badly, but we all have to move on from our mistakes.
Okay. This narrator, I promise, deserves a good punching. It says, I've done this one, but just for the sake of it again, why not? Cover, receive your new trophy. Steps. It just works. Get yours right now. What's this? Stanley Parable 2 magazine.
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test trophy that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply...
Still didn't
give
get that
you the
trophy.
Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the trophy will be given to you. It's as... Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the trophy is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley. But
Yes,
I
you're
guarantee it
a
will be
liar.
fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes
Compulsive
of ravenous fans
liar.
all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
I believe nothing. Sit on the throne of lies, narrator.
What else?
So,
what other exhibits haven't we seen?
Jump
yet?
circle. I remember this.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's a... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle. Oh well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece then.
Or just give me some more jumps and then we can all be happy. It's whatever. So we have here, we have the map. Button that says the name that is playing the game. Where is that at? So I'm here. Try that one, huh? Ah, yes, yes. Of course, this is probably a...
For the Stanley
I, too.
Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people.
So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
The too big button. What's this?
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself...
Jim.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now,
push it
allow
again.
yourself to become Jim. Imagine yourself driving to work as Jim, playing frisbee on the weekends as Jim, staying up all night for a popcorn and horror movie sleepover as Jim, developing a crippling substance addiction as Jim.
What?
All right,
No,
fine,
I
whatever.
refute
It's
that.
just a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now? Get out of here. I'm done with this button.
It's me
Why
with
don't you go
substance
humiliate me
addiction.
in front of a different feature that I worked very hard on?
Jim.
See, if you'd only played along, that would have been your name, the button says. But no. Instead, I can't even think about it. I'm taking the Jim button away.
Oh no. Jim, no. Okay, that was fun. I would have been actually quite fine with the name Jim. I know a very, very special Jim that comes to mind when I think of Jims. That Jim is Jim Halpert from The Office.
Maybe I'll only let people named Jim play the Stanley Parable too. They would appreciate what I've created here.
Name. Exclusive button. Sorry. Exclusively button that says Jim. That's Jim. That's me. So the glove. No. Let's check out some. It's away. Elevator. Nope. That is inaccessible. What's that? Again. Let's go back to the map and see what we can get into, shall we? Okay. Try it out. Jump circle. Trophy. We did the button. Merch. Let's see. Seen most of that. Where's it hole? Doesn't sound. It won't. Okay. Assume it's this way. Time depth, time infinity. This chart doesn't make sense. It says hole. Space is there. All of a sudden infinity is reached. Science? What science? And more. Just more. Whatever the hell that means. It's in fancy.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling.
Deep can we dig?
You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
Check around it. Buttons or no explanation, just jump in there, huh? I supposedly fall for infinity. We all know that's a lie.
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
I don't know.
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
Got all day. I didn't think that was going to get smaller, but it is.
Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite?
Ooh.
Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
Yeah, right. That was a while. And this narrator is clearly a liar. This dude lies about everything.
Oh, for heaven. You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no,
we want to see it again.
No. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. I really do have so... Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow. Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter. Well, there it is.
A what?
The shame of my lie has come to haunt me. Not only is the hole... How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh.
Scratches the itch, all right.
You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on. Is the, teleport button not working? You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again.
See, this wouldn't be a problem if you had... Oh yeah, Biomutant. You know, yo, that may be the same voice actor. Like, really? Because it does sound like awfully familiar.
Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with you on that one. Sound like it. I'm gonna have to look that up and check it out. You know what? Get it. I won't look it up. Hey, get me the hell out of here. What's that music? I'm gonna just say that it is a guy. Sounds similar. Just run with that. Oh God. Copyrighted music, I imagine. It's okay. As we make our descent into the center of the earth. Our goal: stop the core from overheating. Change your perspective. Oh! Yo! Dramatic effect. Like I said, as we venture to the center of the earth, with one goal in mind: stop the world from exploding. It says change your perception. Yeah, that, you know what? That would have been really cool actually if Biomutant was two-player. Circle. Hey. Hey. Alright, no. Need something more cynical. Something that sounds like, hey, this is a mission. And we save the world. Stanley and his bucket. Reality. That one either. Oh yeah. That's perfect. This is like that movie, what is that movie? I forgot what it was called. It was about the catacombs. As above, so below. They went into the catacombs of Paris. Oh, that is awesome. Hold on, wait, let's go back to that. Oh, shit. What is going on? What is going on? Okay, how do I change that music again? That's getting annoying. Change your perspective. But isn't... I'm not gonna say nothing. Oh wait. Perception, reality. Where's the puppies? See, it's got me so confused. I forgot that that was an option, and I'm over here like questioning everything. Like, what? That's new, and it was right there the whole time. Jesus Christ. Where's the puppies go? Oh. What the fuck is all this? And I could change myself. Get the fuck. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. Stanley. What is the? This is crazy. I like that. I like that, Stanley. Like that one too. And we're back to normal. Okay.
Stanley? Stanley?
Yeah?
Stanley!
Hey.
Oh good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodles.
Yes. Let's go. Back into the deep. It's gonna start. Is it gonna start over though? Like, hold on. Get the hell out of here. Get me out of here. I am.
Yeah, go on. Try out some of the new features.
I'm curious to see what'll happen if I go back though. It's just one time. Hey, that's the version of me that is in the hole. It's probably gonna start over top of the loop. Son of a gun. It's a door, huh? That's cool. It's cool. Did the infinite hole, jump circle. It's just for the kicks and giggles. Let's just go see what this is about. It's probably nothing of. Interact. I thought. The end is never the end. This t-shirt is the best. Got 2. Peace sign 2. Back 2 doors. That's sounds like a band. I've seen that. Those other ones. Is there anything else? The infinite did this. Click the little button. I think that might be it. Collectible. Collect them all.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number
It's getting smaller and further away.
All of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
No. Getting closer. All the souls that try to reach towards Stanley's greatness but never ever could reach the top. Because why? Because Stanley is the best. Yes, I. Ingenuity. Trusty friend, the narrator, which has never told me his name. I find that to be kind of odd, but whatever. It's gonna that one go for now. I like to call him the devil. That's what I like to call him. Sick. Is that it? So let's do this, because I can't see doors. Alright, so does that mean I have to now collect...
It really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
So showcase the magazine. Cheers, hottest investment opportunities. Yes. Sequels. Better than that. Ha! Nothing. I don't know why that shit's funny. Exit. I think that's everything. Oh, whoa, wait. Epic log. Oh, do that. So wait, let's look at the map. Because we're here and I is there. That means that I can't read a map. That means it's this way. Second, we're gonna find it. Wait, what's this? Settings. That other one. Then we'll go there. Ah, here it is. Right? Yes.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Of course, it's nothing. Of course, it's nothing. Dude is nothing but a snake oil salesman full of lies. Said deceptions that never ever come to full fruition. You know? What? Can't even go in here. See? How? Expect. I love fidgeting with setting the mode versus quality mode, adjusting the sliders for the brightness, HDR, whatever it is, you know. Subtitles, gotta have those. I think that's it. That's it. Did everything here. Okay. Now we leave. Stanley Parable 2, ladies and gentlemen. Such a disappointment. Obviously, I understand these are concepts.
You wanted to? Ready to move on now?
You know what though? I'm just curious about those collectibles though. Like the 1 of 6 kind of got me thinking that means that there's 6 in this location in which I could find. The whole CD in me makes me wonder. Missing out on something. Okay, look. Sorry. Just a quick gander in the most obvious places. And yeah. Surely. There. Alright. Satisfying would that be? Gander here. There. It's probably nothing. Hey, what is that? know that sound. As a matter of fact, funny little short story here. If anybody had a computer in the earlier days, and they had the two speakers each side of the computer, and had dial-up or wireless, not wireless, but dial-up, like AOL, whatever. So anyway, from what I can remember, speakers had a odd, uncanny capability of predicting, and because of the frequencies in the air, the speakers would catch the frequency, and then you would hear that all the time. How I knew it was coming because my internet would act up too. You know, that was back in the day where you couldn't be on internet and on the phone at the same time because it took up their line, considering it was dial-up and everything, you know. But I don't know. That's just funny little side story there. That's crazy. Like, why is it doing it? I believe that that is everything. So we're just gonna leave. For real this time. There's no trophies. Collectibles.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay, are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2. I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on, let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley?
Two infinite holes
This
now?
isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply...
That's me!
Well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2." Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Okay. That is nice. Okay. Let's check and see what they have. Anything? Oh, okay. Things seems to be in order.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
So is this gonna be anything like different?
Stanley worked for a company in a big building
Oh, yes.
where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
I am happy.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to
Those are
give
the
him
balloons I
instructions,
picked, by the way.
call a
Well,
meeting, or
after they
even say
picked for me.
goodbye. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
I gotta say, for a sequel, oddly similar to the first Stanley Parable, with slight nuances of which seem to have added.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
It's my bucket.
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Says, be my Valentine. Okay. So this was 416 all the time? All time?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Yeah, I'm still not sure. Too.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
And I have a symbiotic.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Better than you.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Oh.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Actually, Buck is like, jump. Just jump. It's gonna be okay. Instead. Hey! It's one of my collectibles. Get it though. Ah. Yo. Yeah, okay. Swell.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried.
So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Yes, that's more than enough reward in my book. Satisfaction to know that I'm collecting these. What's going on with that? What is that? Paper mache type of. Go. Dialogue, dialogue. All these are okay. Is this his office?
Okay, this is day number 295, tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so...
Empty.
What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it. Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get me. What's that? Who's there?
What? All of a sudden, it's turned to like an SMP episode or something. Like, what the hell was that? I mean, that was cool.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
Be comfort. Bucket in me.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
It's
But
not.
Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this
Yes.
better than the meeting room?
Infinitely.
Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Aside from that,
Truly, being here with the bucket was a grand adventure. Stanley reflected on all they'd been through together. First, walking through the door on the right, then walking to the lounge, then arriving at the lounge. What a thrilling journey the bucket had inspired.
truly awe-inspiring.
Perhaps this was where the bucket felt most truly at home, here in the employee lounge. Perhaps it's the only place a bucket can even feel at home.
Yes.
Stanley decided to just give the bucket absolutely as much time as it needed to be in the lounge. Clearly, the bucket and the employee lounge shared a special connection.
Yeah, much more than I. Been doing nothing to me this whole time. About the nature of who and what you are, nature of this office. By the way, I'm gonna call it right here, right now. And it has never been said before, but I'm going to say it. Here it is. This office is back room. But before the back rooms became the back rooms, this is what it used to be. To be vibrant, bustling with buckets and $1.25 soft drinks. Yeah, you know that's a parallel universe, because never.
But finally, the bucket was done being in the lounge, and they took the first open door on their left to get back to business.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Is it going to be any different? I wonder if I just... Bear with me, y'all. Just want to see what happens if we just eat ourselves off of here with the bucket.
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
Yes.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley
Forgot.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a
Been
memo.
missing out on my
No
tradition.
matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Did I missed one? Surely. Whoa, 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 whoa. Something
The
was
confusion
missing.
and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
Feels quite at home. A bucket?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
Doing?
But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Except that. Spread.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point.
Hey!
Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless,
What?
what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
That is discrimination, sir. This bucket has done nothing to you. I think you're jealous. That's what I think. I think you're jealous because me and the bucket have a bigger connection than you have told me nothing but lies. And the bucket has always been a friend to me. Always has trusted me. Always tells me the truth. Bucket says that, I don't like you, narrator. I don't like that dude one bit. First, we know what a bucket is.
I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin.
This is a bucket.
Is this a bucket?
Yes, actually the bucket says that's his wife, you bastard. How dare you? What are you doing? Why is she with you?
Incorrect. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
No, liar. That was his wife.
Item 2. Is this a bucket?
It is indeed a bucket. And that's cousin Jim. That is Jim. Same Jim from earlier, actually. Was never me. It was actually about the bucket. He's saying that you're tricking me. That's what he's saying. He said I should press the X because, like, no, that's not a bucket. For the sake of him being right, I'll press the green one. Watch you lie to me again.
Incorrect. It is a 3D printed
Exactly.
recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Exactly. Got you figured out, you son of a...
Item 3. Is this a bucket?
What do you think, Bucket? Is that a bucket? Is that one of your relatives? Okay, so he says to me, indeed, it is not relatives, but it is a bucket. It is a bucket that bullied him as a child. So he says that it is not a real bucket. A bucket could ever bully another.
Incorrect. This is a bucket.
Get that loser out of here.
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
It's a bucket, actually. It says my bucket. And here's the thing. Anybody who knows tractors knows that they are nefariously called buckets in their spare time. So it is indeed a bucket.
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one.
You're incredible. Sufferable, as a matter of fact.
Is this a bucket?
Games, 'cause that's the same bucket we just said. So yeah.
Correct. This is a bucket. Item 6. Is this a bucket?
Do you know that bucket? You don't say. So he's telling me, this is what he told me. He said that bucket owes him money, and that son of a bitch better pay up ASAP, and I should press the red button. It's because, yeah, fuck that guy.
Trick question. both. Gotcha.
Ah, you're the trick.
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see.
Let's
Should
get
be around
that.
here
Let's get.
somewhere.
We don't want to play your games anymore. You're finished playing these games. A bucket. Countable. Interrogation thing you got going on here, so we refuse to play anymore.
Yes. Thank you. There's nothing here. Of course it isn't a bucket. We both know full well that nothing isn't a bucket. Wait, when I say nothing isn't a bucket, that makes it sound like I'm saying everything is a bucket, which of course is not true. Unless, is that what you think? Answer me straight, Stanley. Are you trying to tell me that you believe everything is a bucket?
Well, narrator, you would hear me out here. Because everything is molecules and particles and atoms. We all live in this big universe called Earth. Sorry, universe called Earth. This big planet called life. No, wait. Oh, that's wrong too. This experience, if you will. Let's just say that, huh? Everything is indeed a bucket. Because we are all one. You understand? That's the beauty of it all. Right? Yes. Bucket agrees. He said,
What? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket?
you are a bucket.
Stanley, I
Now
can't
you're getting
believe
it.
this.
Now.
Myself and myself
Getting
was
it.
all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game.
Never friends.
Okay, here we go.
What? Wait, what? How? What did he say?
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait. was
Everything's a
everything
bucket.
a bucket?
Yeah.
Every single thing in the game was a bucket.
See?
Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets.
See, I can explain that
Yes,
too,
I
actually.
actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay?
Yes.
And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
Indeed. We don't want to fracture anybody's frivolous mind. Except for us, the audience. We all know everything is indeed buckets. And Devilman, narrator.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
That two never, well, that other one has never been on, so it's interesting. So let me think. I went, took the door on the left, I jumped off the lift. Let me go through that door. Let's try to go through the door again.
Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be
There it
correct?
goes.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
So here's my theory, and I don't know if the game thought of this, but my theory is that
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
so I feel like that door that was previously locked for buckets should be open now since we did that little questionnaire and found out everything is indeed a bucket, that should be available. But they who knows if
Good,
they actually thought
said the
about that.
bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked. No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see,
Okay,
there's a
so
sign
they
right
did.
there. It says, no buckets
Okay,
past this
whatever.
point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding
so this
could have
time-
dire consequences.
To everything.
So much of
Oh no,
the
wait. Should I say
impact
yes
of
or
the
no
story is
to
dependent
everything?
on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment. Now then, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right?
Is
This
that
should tell us
blood?
everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
Just gonna say no.
Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 2. Is this a bucket? Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 3. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. This is a bucket. Item 4. Is this a bucket? Correct. This is a tractor and not a bucket. To be honest, I just sort of put this one in here as a gimme, but I was starting to get concerned that even this might be too much for you. Thank you for not making me look like an idiot. Okay, next one. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. This is a bucket.
You don't care anymore. In the bucket have decided not to care about
Item
anything you say,
Is this
narrator.
a bucket?
Anything.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha. Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere. Yes. Thank you. There's nothing here. Of course it isn't a bucket. We both know full well that nothing isn't a bucket. Wait, when I say nothing isn't a bucket, that makes it sound like I'm saying everything is a bucket, which of course is not true. Unless, is that what you think? Answer me straight, Stanley. Are you trying to tell me that you believe everything is a bucket? You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely. Okay, here we go. What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait.
Okay, so next
was
time,
everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was
stay
a
on the
bucket.
lift. It's gonna stay on the lift this time, huh?
How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Oh.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
That's... Almost forgot my
Stanley
bucket.
picked up the bucket and smiled.
Forgot.
He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Trying to see if there's any more figurines.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up the phone and it will take us back home where we can go about life together.
Ding, Mr. Bucket. Also tempting to unplug the phone. The narrator I don't trust.
Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket. Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
What is comedic timing?
Okay.
What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing.
Okay.
To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny with the funny" now.
I am Dunny with the funny. That is
Good.
old.
This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy.
This.
Finally, it's time to
Oh,
hand
these are
out
good points.
surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random.
And it shouldn't be
And
multiple
that's all
choice
there
either.
is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence and who very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
Is this turning to hell divers? What the hell? What?
Thank goodness this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
Okay. Some extra comedic ability. So wait, what? Wait a minute, what? This is a first.
I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail
Oh,
the delivery.
and I can't
You'll
jump
be in
out.
Stitches. A
Bastard.
talking bucket, you'll say. How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we have the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
Bucket. This by far has to be my favorite bucket.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Sorry. What's going on? You gonna try to kill me if I go in here? That's what's going on. The bucket says that there's something insidious behind that door. Humor.
What? We're back at the phone already? No. What's going on? There were supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point, a dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land. Well, not the way it was meant to.
And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the two doors room. What an egregious mistake. I've made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think I need to go back and rewatch that instructional video again. Yes, surely that will help me improve my... Here we go. You ready?
Yes.
When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Of course. Okay, it's a loop.
What? We're back at the phone already? No. Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two
One more
open
time.
doors,
See.
they entered the door on the left.
One more time.
What? We're back at the phone already? No.
Same. Okay. Fine.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Into the door on the left. We entered the door on the left.
You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this is all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
We are very proud. Me and my bucket. Whoa.
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes. Well, let me try that again, Stanley. I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. No? Do not... Is it the delivery? Pale...
Is everything.
Pale with shame? Pale...
Your whole existence.
What's another word to describe a bucket? Stanley, this bucket is so metal, I think I saw it playing guitar. No. We're getting away from making fun of Stanley's obsession with the bucket, which was the whole point of this. I'm no good at these jokes. I need more instructional videos. That's exactly what it is. That's what will make me the king of comedy again. More instructional videos. Let's see.
Tried though. Gotta give him that. He tried.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Hit my bucket.
The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together.
Yep.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room. But
So we're
Stanley
gonna answer the
felt
phone this
bucket
time.
calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes, good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
That's very true.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up the phone and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
This is true, Bucket? Do you want to be with me forever? I want to be with you forever too. Can't answer. Hey, what?
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Oh, it's me. I thought this was like a cutscene or something. Okay. Hey, this is my house. The beige pages. Says, wish you were here. Freedom ending. Adventure waits. Loading bar. Played the demo. So all these are things assuming relation to Stanley Parable. Choices I've made. A bucket. Mr. Bucket. Hello, Stanley. It's me, your Bucket. Press X to take me to work with you. Why, yes, Bucket. I would love to do that.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Lies. Liar. Take me back home with you, Stanley. Sure, Mr. Bucket? Just got here, though. Anything for you, Mr. Bucket?
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Never.
Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
Listen to the loud man. Huh?
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket.
We don't
this
have
stupid hunk of metal.
Next, to ignore everyone in your life except you, Mr. Bucket.
It's sad. I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
Do you, Stanley? I do.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more...
TV time, Mr. Bucket?
What am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Saying that would be paradise. Let's do it.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
It says press up to go home. work to home to work.
Oh no. I'm having feelings. For the bucket. No. What's going on?
What is going
Why
on?
don't I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes. The bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation.
Just me and my bucket. This is really happening. This is really happening, Mr. Bucket. I don't know what you ever saw in me.
Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it or I'll...
You can't have my bucket. Scoot to work, Stanley. That was fun. Alright. So we answered the phone, got off the lift. Now we can finally go to the door on the...
Someone was following Stanley.
Whoa,
He was
whoa.
sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be perfectly fine with him.
I need you to watch my back. Okay? That's what I need you to do.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Yes. I know exactly like to go, Mr. Bucket. Thanks. Warehouse access plan. Just one plank to allow ease past a bridge to allow collection of shiny retrieve Chris's remains from the workhouse floor. Yeah, okay. And construct new constructually sound bridge. Whoa. It's like 427, haha. That's me. Some kind of game. Speed to this. No. There is no positive clue? Possible clue, sorry. It's all this stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm doing, kinda. I'm just... This is our new home now.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket.
Yep.
You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh, no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner?
Blasphemy.
Never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it.
See, Mr. Broom, this is my bucket.
Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go.
Ah.
There. Now it's settled. No more debate, no more discussion. Take a hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
I know he's lying. I don't like him either. Just bear with me, okay?
All right, I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate. You
Yeah.
see, I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket. That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and say to yourself, ah, it's a bucket. There really is a wide variety of applications for this sticker.
That's true. So, as I was saying, Mr. and Mrs., this guy is clearly just jealous of the relationship that me and the bucket have. See how he just cuts me off all the time?
With the bucket, but now the broom closet is just giving us the silent treatment. And to be honest, I'm sick of the pettiness on display.
That's because you can't
can
hear
stay
them.
Here all you like, but I've had it with this impetulant room of cleaning supplies. Easily the most childish such room I've ever been in. I'll see you outside, and we can get on with the story about you and your bucket.
Now that he's gone, listen. I know, you know, you're good. See, the bucket is just a mere expansion wall, because I can't take you all with me. The bucket here, allowed to go wherever. It's like, imagine this bucket as a transcriber, dictating and documenting everything that I see so he can come back and relay it to you all. See what I'm saying? And narrator is just a jealous little bitch. That's all. Just a fucking jealous little bitch. Don't listen to them. But listen. Long story short, I missed you all. Glad you're all doing well. But I must go. Don't worry. Me and Mr. Bucket share our stories once we... Okay? Ciao. Close the door for you. Okay, so let's do it with the bucket.
Coming to
See what happens.
Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Nope.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what
Where's my
sorts
bucket?
of bizarre hallucinations
Where's my bucket?
Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket.
Where'd it go?
Indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Bucket?
Come to me, Stanley.
Where are you?
Find me.
Where are you,
He
Bucket?
had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore
Where?
his sanity.
Where?
And then
I hear you.
he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work. The bucket would provide absolute guidance.
Oh, God.
Yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. She backflipped all the way to work.
Wow. For real? Alright, seriously though. This game is truly interesting. Like, everything about it is just lovely. I'm getting in the character and all that stuff, but like, aside from that, like, I'm having loads of fun with this.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
She backflipped all the way to work. Hey, do I know you? Yeah, I do. Handsome guy over there. Look at him. All styling and profiling with his stickers and name tag. Sure, it says property of Stanley. That just means that we are bonded and we share a closer connection. It's not, I don't own you. Of course you're your own individual.
A strong bucket, a
Get over here.
bucket, a
Let's go.
committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction.
See, for once he's telling the truth. Like, that's the only thing that this dude has said all day. I agree with. A bucket of culture and distinction.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Yeah, into the door on the left. Downstairs. Now we'll go upstairs. Uncover. Inside this.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. But alas, no stickers.
See, I told you I'll be back. Sake, you guys. You guys are all my true friend. The narrator, he doesn't understand us. He can't even hear you. This is how you know he's not a part of the Chronicles of Narnia and how these things work, you know? Like Peter Pan and how only kids can see them and whatever they have you, I don't know. That type of stuff. Alright, toodaloos.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Oh.
A Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? Or what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
I like mini stands actually, but stand. Okay. Oh wait, what's that? So, dang. Car is getting. But there's nothing in here. I don't know why I'm even pushing the button. It doesn't go anywhere. Not even gonna entertain that. Password, what was the password? 4 2 8.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him, always. The bucket would. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck.
Was sheer luck?
The bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him?
The bucket told me.
Yes. This is certainly the most logical explanation.
The bucket knows the secrets of the universe. And another mini Stanley.
Of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley?
Figlies?
What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
I can tell you what it is. It's a reward-based system based on my attention span, and so since my attention span isn't that big, me collecting these figurines give me a small moment of satisfaction where it's like, another one. Kind of like Adam West from Family Guy.
The
That
elevator
whole
raced downwards,
piece of candy.
plummeting towards an unknown
Piece of candy.
fate. It would be all Stanley could do
Piece
to
of
keep
candy.
himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Can we go back upstairs? Can.
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing. Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely slamming on the number 3 over and over and over. Wow, he said. The number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life. Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent. This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Once Stanley had had enough of the number 3, he got back in the elevator.
Oh, this is kind of fun, actually. You know what? Even more fun. Alright, I'm just trying to see if there's going to be any dialogue. Doesn't seem like it. Do this. I mean, the door's already open, so I don't think anything special would happen. Back. Let's try that one more time. Let's see.
Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly.
Nope. What time?
No, 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 said Stanley to the bucket. You can't go on yet. Not till you understand how much the number 3 means to me. You and I have been through so much together, and I just want you to see what I see. Feel the happiness I feel. He smiled at the bucket, and the bucket said,
Yeah, no. There's something intriguing.
Here we go, said Stanley. This time I'll really show you. He ran to the number 3 and began to wail on it like a musician on a beloved instrument, weaving a concerto of truth and passion. He wielded the number 3 like a fine artist would wield a paintbrush. He told stories through the number 3, stories of his dreams and hopes and fears. And the whole time, he looked to his bucket for a reaction of some kind. Anything to let him know that the bucket appreciated what he was doing. The bucket conveyed absolutely nothing at all, only silence. Crushed by a wave of dejection, Stanley returned to the elevator.
What's that, Mr. Bucket? You say the narrator's lying and you actually enjoyed that? I know that. I know. I don't know what that bastard's talking about.
Stanley and the bucket were so close. They'd always been there for one another. Why suddenly could the bucket not connect with this passion of Stanley's? The question caused Stanley to ruminate the whole way down the elevator. He knew that there must be a way to get through to the bucket, to communicate fully with his dear friend. Surely there was a solution, mustn't there be?
Okay.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
How I do want to go down this path. I won't. But we'll do that next time.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
number. $27. There it is. There I am. 427. It's empty.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
That's true. That's true. So, Mr. Bucket, don't worry.
But
I'll
here
never
was the
leave you.
proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
What's that, Mr. Bucket? You say that maybe we should turn it back on? Why would he ever do that? Why would we do that? Oh. Say, my wife. What about my wife? Say she's jealous? That's what it is? She's jealous of us? And you say that. Say that. See. So she. I believe you. I believe you. Shh. Say no more. Just push the button. Of together. Oh, what's that say?
When at last they came to the source of the room's power, Stanley and the bucket knew it was their obligation to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Do we do? Do we do? See, turn it off. What would happen? We would run off into the sunset. Again, Mr. Bucket. Away from our pesky wife, you say? Also, if you turn it on, you don't have to deal with this pesky wife figure either. This facility. You and I together. Yes, say no more.
At the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly birds. The control buttons became active again. Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best.
I agree.
And Stanley was happy.
Silly birds. Alright,
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. The embrace of an old friend.
we're back.
A weathered companionship that stands the test of time.
Wait, what?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Still missing 2 figurines.
Stanley, we must move on from this
Okay.
broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stick. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he
I don't
didn't
remember.
notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
2-8.
But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Yeah.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his
All right, so we'll turn it
began
off
to
this
sink
time.
in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert it. Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support. What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket.
How dare you?
Lens not to part with the bucket. No, no, no. Stanley
It's
can't
my
leave this
bucket.
place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Plot twist. That it? Wait a minute, what the? This is different.
The bucket made Stanley want to be a better man and a better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those things. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Then what? This is different. So different.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no... Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire, if not... But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him?
Yes.
This is certainly the most logical explanation. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
Ever
The door
believed
behind
you.
them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them. As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere.
These are not true.
Farewell, Stanley.
This is not true. I've always loved you, Bucket.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end as it was crushed violently to death. It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
The bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. You standing at the precipice of knowledge. Much like the bucket itself, the human mind is frequently empty within. A carnivorous void. But my brain. But through use of exhibit in front of you, the mind can become of enriched sustenance. You know what? Let's just get in our head, shall we? For some reason, right now, I just got like a lot of brain fog and can't quite think. Get off after this little. This has been fun.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life? No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
Oh. But let's do it. Okay.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together.
I guess
each place as ruler, as leader,
this
as
is it,
commander
Bucket.
of a new world, a new
You're
vision.
gone. Okay, well, this is what I'm going to call it for tonight. This was enjoyable. This whole experience and those who stopped by, I appreciate it. And while enduring in my insufferable acting, I do appreciate that too. But till next time, friends, I'll see you later.